What's up, friends? Happy 1st of October, right? Just getting things set up here on my end. He croaked. So I'm doing another stream so soon yet again because I can't even set foot outside because of the apocalyptic air conditions, like 200 parts per million or whatever of stuff in the air that you can't breathe. Yeah, unfortunate circumstances for spending so much time indoors, but I have to admit I'm sort of enjoying the break a little bit. I mean, just a little. I love working outside, but at the same time, I really enjoy spending a little time doing things that I don't normally have the time or the energy to do, I guess. Alright, let's try this no view. Like Art Nouveau, I guess? Nouveau? I don't know how to pronounce it. Oh my god. Nouveau, that's how it's pronounced, but this is something else. Alright, so I'm gonna turn the sound up just a bit here. See sounds. Get some nice ambient noises here. The wind, the crickets. This looks pretty classic for a Second Life sim. It doesn't really have any real coherent vision or... What the hell is this? That thing was jumping around, right? I didn't imagine that. Roaming dryer. It's like a... it's like an appliance livestock. That's cool. Only in Second Life TM. It's a cupcake vending machine. Just looking at all the flavors, trying to decide which one I'm going to select. Green tea, definitely. Nothing I like better than green tea ice cream. I love all the details on here, like these little bolt mounts on the bottom. Schadenfreude. That's cool. I can't get over this, like, dryer that's just, like, jumping around. That's tripping me out. Look at this, a telephone shower box. So you can get squeaky clean while you're making calls, I guess. Valiant Co. That's pretty cool. I'm liking this sim already. It may be kind of messy, but messy can be good. That's a beautiful little tchotchke there. The little spiders are snagging me up. That's a cute cat. Say that looks just like Pishan. That's a cool hula girl lamp. Wow, great job on all these details. Even the filament in the light bulb. Wonder if it turns on. Yeah, nice. Beautiful. Wow, that's Really nice work. I like how the skirt's kind of like subtly dancing too. I have to check out Schadenfreude's shop because that's pretty cool. Only 5 cents for man panties. I'm gonna have to get myself a pair of those. You can't beat that price, even if you never wear them. It's still a deal. I had to go over and take a look at the greenhouse, you know, my soft spot for flora. It's a beautiful succulent. I don't even like succulents really. That's a gotcha. Oh my god. You just can't can't walk 5 feet in Second Life now without running into some kind of gotcha machine or seeing the word gotcha. It's a beautiful rooster. Yeah, I slept like absolute shit last night, probably because of the smoke. I live in an older place and it's not super airtight. In fact, there's like probably 4mm gaps underneath all the windows. So even with like air purifiers running, unfortunately, it still gets kind of smoky in here. Oh, those are very realistic peanuts. Well done. I wonder how many polys each one of those is. They're pretty high, but not like as high as they looked at first. These skulls are awesome. That's some really nice topology there. And it's like a succulent planter too. Great, there's some music source in here now. My video's gonna get flagged. I wonder if these are all Nomad. These are all pretty cool too. Yeah, pitcher plants. What better thing to have in a skull than a carnivorous plant like the Spinous flytrap? That's pretty cool. Oh wow, they close. They're, if that's like an animesh or a texture, what is it? Just like a, is it a multi-mesh? Oh, it's a multi-mesh. That's really clever though. Beautiful blue raven. I'm actually in like a shop here. That's weird. It just looked like a normal house when I wandered into it, but it's definitely some kind of shop. Like a franchise maybe, where they just plop down a prefab. Oh, I really want to check out that elephant up there. Maybe The Sims like a whole bunch of shops scattered around, I don't know. I should probably always check the information first, huh? Starlust. Oh, looks like there's, yeah, several shops on here. Group owned. What do we have here? Come on, Res. Ugh. I wish there was a slider that I could set for res priority where it would pretty much just like completely command the viewer. Luxuria. Like an override command, so like basically the second you hovered over something with the cursor, it would like just devote all bandwidth to that item and load it as quickly as possible. I mean, it's cool that it already basically does that to a degree. I'm just gonna look upstairs. I don't want to actually go up there. And there's nothing up there anyway. This is a nice build right here. It's very Linden-esque with this like old style stone texture. But yeah, like literally right now because of the smoke, I feel like I smoked like 20 packs of cigarettes. I woke up, I couldn't breathe through my nose at all. I could barely hear out of my right ear. Not really conducive to a day of fun and productivity. But that's one of the nice things about working outside is when the conditions are really bad, you have a pretty good excuse to not work outside. Not that I need an excuse, because being healthy and working in conditions that won't precipitate some sort of health crisis in the future is of course just like basic human rights. But don't tell America. Don't tell America that. I'm like super lucky because I entered the private sector. I used to be kind of working for a nonprofit. I was in kind of the public sector, and we didn't get a lot of perks or breaks. I worked outside last year during the fires really hard in smoke. I had a face mask on, but it was still like really unhealthy conditions, and I was like wheezing and coughing and choking like for the rest of the day after working. But on the other hand, even if I'd been given the option to take the day off, I probably still would have gone in anyway, because when you work on a farm and there's a lot of things that just can't wait, basically, you don't really have the option of taking the day off just randomly if things need to be watered or taken care of or whatever. So I didn't feel like I was being abused or exploited or anything like that. I mean, the choice was ultimately mine, but there was a little bit of like a feeling of like I should probably go to work, even though it's not really a good idea. So I don't know, I don't want to say like completely that there wasn't any pressure at all. I mean, there's always some pressure, you know, whether it's internal or external, there's always pressure, because in a sense, we're kind of just shaped and manifested by the pressures that surround us and fill us. Just like this one lonely pigeon. Look at him go. Oh, this is cool with the broken out windows. It's meta. You can actually buy the building you're in within the store itself, which is the building that you can buy. Is there a little store inside the building when you buy it? You can like infinitely recursively buy the building within itself. A three-eyed piglet. Somebody likes pigs. That's cool. I'm using the right mouse zoom function, which as far as I know is unique to alchemy, but I really like it. I mean, it's easier to well, no, it's not easier, it's harder to leave your body with the mouse wheel and then inspect items. You have more control, but I feel like for something like a really quick inspection, that right mouse button zoom in feature is pretty awesome. Bubble blowing crab, that's kind of cool. Oh, that's creepy. First I thought it was a mudkip. Oh, that is one loud seagull. Tell me how you really feel. These poppies. Everybody's jumping on the gotcha bandwagon. I think that's kind of sad in the sense, if you think about it, that like the only way to make money anymore with virtual items is to trick and lure people in with the promise of potentially getting some like fancy item that's normally really expensive. Oh, this is weird. It's like two spiders overlapping. It's like a multi-mesh that didn't quite work out, I don't know. Wow, look at the work on that neon sign. Of all those standoffs. Look at the detail in that box. Like this little diorama in here, that's so cool. Bizarre. Cool chairs. That one doesn't look very comfortable though. That's cool. A fish and a coffee percolator. Just a random log. Surprisingly cozy upstairs. That's a nice piece of work there. I have almost this exact Mexican blanket. It's funny. I apologize in advance for all the requisite throat clearing. Just trying to breathe, basically. Is this a little goat butterfly? That's cute. Alright, on to the next attraction, which this sim is in no shortage of supply. What the devil? The store is just called Pig, huh? I really like the layout of the shop, like with the vendors being set up in the archways and then having an entrance and an exit. It really, I just felt like that was one of the most streamlined experiences I've ever had walking through a shop on a shop sim. I hate it when they box you in, especially in those malls where it's like you go upstairs and you're basically locked in and you have to walk all the way back downstairs. That's a cool grandfather clock. I've seen a lot of grandfather clocks in Second Life, but I think this is probably one of my favorites so far. It's got a lot of personality. Wow, that's a cool geode. Cortez, Brandris, Freebird. It's a very musical sim. Well, at least I don't live in Napa. Napa Valley, it's right next door. That's why I'm being inundated by smoke. But I'm really glad I don't live in Napa because they're literally burning to the ground. I guess like tons and tons of wineries have already gone up in flames. I feel like there's some kind of a joke in there, but things burning up is never gonna be funny, really. So, unless it's fascism. Whoa, that was cool. What was that? Something jumped into that log. A little ferret? An ermine or something? God, that's cool. Wonder if that's Animesh. Oh yeah, it's totally Animesh. That's awesome. Oh, weasel. Weasel in a tree. That's cool. Sasaya Ko. That's cool. I wouldn't mind buying one of those. I like the trees. I mean, normally I don't like ostentatiously colored props, but these trees are really just kind of beautiful somehow. Little jumping fox. Oh, look at those fox gloves. That's so cool. That is gorgeous. And they nailed the texture on those. I grow these every year in my garden for medicinal purposes. Cool, it's got the Latin name. Digitalis purpurea. Digitalis, though, that's the secret store. Melee. Oh, this eggshell candle holder is cool too. Like I was trying to say, this shop's pretty great. Like, I guess I really prefer the diverse shop sims that have a whole bunch of different shops, because Usually when you go to a shop sim, there's just one shop on the whole sim. It's really disappointing, and usually, honestly, the sim with just one shop is usually pretty lame. I mean, I'm saying the shop itself is pretty lame with, like, not very cool stuff. But with this sort of, like, more shotgun approach, I feel like even if one of these shops was lame, then, you know, maybe the other 8 or so would be awesome. Okay, so here's the Schadenfreude shop, which I've seen a few of the items already on the sim, and I was really impressed. So I've got high hopes. Yeah, I really want one of these hula lamps, but I like the one in the, I like the one that I already saw. So I like that the skirt sways, but I feel like it's a little too jittery on the bottom. Like, I know that's just a limitation of the platform, and it's not really the creator's fault, but for me personally, it's just a little, I don't know. I guess these are gotcha machines right here. It never ceases to amaze me how, like, when you go into a creator's, like, physical store in world versus, oh, that's cool, a vampire slaying kit, maybe, I don't know what this is really, like holy water, wooden stakes, a wooden hammer, I don't know what this knife is, maybe like a silver knife, and then what are these, oh, rosary beads, okay, and then a cross. So yeah, that's pretty, what about the garlic though? There's no garlic in there. I wouldn't buy it unless there was garlic. Yeah, but, as I was saying, the difference between, marketplace shops, like the website, the Second Life Marketplace website, versus in-world stores, it's always so, like, confusing and different. Like, I can understand as someone who's owned a marketplace shop for a long time, and who, very shortly had land in Second Life and had, like, a small section where I was selling some of my items. It's really hard to synchronize unless you are, like, paying somebody to manage your shop. I mean, if you're just a single person, a single, like, proprietor, store owner, creator, doing everything, business manager. Oh, this is cool. So, I noticed earlier that there was a downstairs too. I want to check this out really quick. This is awesome. I really like this elephant, like a death elephant. But I know there's like a bottom story too that I'm excited about. But yeah, like, managing, like, the marketplace is by far the easiest thing to manage, and it's, unless you're paying someone to manage your store, which I don't think a lot of individual creators would probably do. Even that's a lot of work, because, you know, you gotta manage the listings, you gotta do customer service, you gotta take all this photos and make videos and stuff for whatever you're selling. All that stuff takes time. And then, like, if you have a in-world store too, then that's like the marketplace, only in 3 dimensions. So you gotta, like, create, like, a storefront like this, then you gotta, like, lay everything out, and you gotta make sure you don't, like, go over the land impact, and then you have to create these, like, vendors. Yeah, I like the mermaid one, but I want a hula girl, but I want it with the other pattern, the one that I saw in the Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's an Uber pack. You get them all, huh? Oh, I like the goth one. That's cool. Can't really tell which one's my favorite. I guess I like the girl with the fish. See, I can buy an individual one here. And I'm trying to decide which one of these I want to buy. Probably just go with the classic. Although, I don't know, the dark skin one's pretty cool too. That's more like authentic. How much is this? It doesn't have a price anywhere on it, which is interesting. Anyway, yeah, so like, and when you have an in-world store, there's like so much complexity. There's so many options. You can have these like vendors where you click and buy, or you can have like really sophisticated vendors that lets you like scroll through all the different options and like preview them in 3D with like little like lazy Susans that are like rolling and showing you all the details and stuff. Or you can just have them all sitting out in one big room. I mean, anyway, the real challenge though, what I'm getting at is that synchronization is the real hard part, because every time you create a new item or add it to your shop, like on the marketplace, then you have to add it in your physical store too. And I've noticed what happens a lot of times, unless the store owner or the brand name person is like, unless they're unless they're paying somebody to manage all that shit, it's never gonna be synchronized, right? It's always gonna be different on the marketplace versus the in-world store. And often what happens is the creator favors one more than the other. Like me personally, I favor the marketplace because it's just so much easier for me. I can just add photos and, you know, with just a few clicks, manage like item updates or whatever. But it seems like a lot of creators in Second Life prefer the in-world store, which makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways, because really there's nothing. I like this banana dolphin, that's awesome. Nothing is really easier. God, look at that, they even got the texture inside the mouth like perfectly nailed down. That's a really nice piece of work. It's just gorgeous. Yeah, like seeing it in person is always going to be better than pictures or even a video, I think. And the chance that somebody's going to buy something when they can actually see it in person, I think, is probably a lot higher too. Just, it's very intuitive. Just kind of common sense. Oh, this is interesting. This like sparkly zombie killing bat. So yeah, a lot of times creators will favor their in-world store over the marketplace. So anyway, what I'm getting at, ultimately, the bottom line is that when you go into the marketplace store, you may not be able to see everything they have available. Like if you saw like some avatars walking along and they have some really cool like item, and you figure out who, like you inspect it and you figure out who made it, and then you're like, oh, I want one of those, and you go to their shop or like their marketplace on the website and you can't find the item, and then you're like, okay, so it's not there, maybe it's in their in-world store, and you go to their like real physical store, and you're like, then you have to like hunt for it because there's no search function, so you just have to walk around until you find it, and then you may not be able to buy it easily. Like what do I do if I want one of these things? Like, say I want these shoes. Like, I'm clicking on this, it does nothing, so like I'm not able to purchase it from that. And maybe this is all gotcha, for all I know. Like, there's no regular purchasing. Like, you can't just get what you want. You have to, like, gamble to get what you want. Which really pisses me off, personally. But maybe a lot of people are cool with that. I don't even know. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's not a good user experience at all. So, if you could somehow find a way to integrate the marketplace and the real world store, maybe have some kind of a, but I really like these are awesome. If you could somehow create like a 3D version of the marketplace in world. Now keep in mind, I don't know how you would do this. This is like a way next level kind of thing that would have to be created with like full cooperation with Linden Labs. But basically, here's my vision. So like, you're a resident and you want to have an in-world store, but you don't want to have to go to all this effort, like creating a unique experience. So basically, you just opt for like an official template kind of a store on an official like plot of land that's associated with your account, and it would just be like a generic like box building with a kiosk in it with some kind of a display system. I don't know, obviously this wouldn't work for everyone. This wouldn't work for people who have like really sophisticated or complicated or unique systems where they're like selling really involved like scripting thing or some kind of unique custom thing that they've built like this. But this would work, I think, for about 90% of most vendors. Just like a generic storefront with an ability to display the items in world, and then it would be integrated. Like, you wouldn't have to set this up separately. It would be completely integrated with the Second Life marketplace. So in other words, whatever you added to your Second Life marketplace, it would use the API of that to like populate this virtual in-world store. So if you added a new creation to your marketplace, then it would pop up automatically in your like virtual store front that people could shop at in world. So then it would just, everything would be kind of like a one-stop shop. And then inversely, if someone was like went to your in-world store and they saw something, and then later on they were like, oh, I want one of those, but they didn't want to go back to the store, or they were just on the internet, then they can just go to the marketplace and buy it from there. I don't know, there's a lot of kinks to work out, obviously, but I think it would be a worthwhile thing to explore. Maybe it's totally impractical, I don't know. These are those kind of like broad or high-minded concepts that really are challenging to develop, because they sound deceptively simple, but then when you actually try to put them together, it turns out to be a lot more challenging than you might think. So I don't know. And of course, there's also this really weird thing that I've never in a million years understood with Second Life vendors and the marketplace, is like limited edition items. Like, okay, so like marketing 101, if you want to sell more products. This is like also kind of capitalism 101. Create false scarcity or the illusion of scarcity, and that gets people into this frenzied state where it's really like tapping into evolutionary psychology, like back in prehistoric times or whenever people were starving to death and they needed to hoard acorns, otherwise they weren't going to live through the winter. Scarcity was a real problem. It was like a serious challenge, and it could be the difference between life or death. So people still have this evolutionary tendency to kind of, for their amygdala to just go ape shit whenever scarcity is introduced into the sort of psychological space. So if you want to like, in other words, manipulate or force people into making a decision, you introduce artificial scarcity, and then the amygdala kind of spools up, and then suddenly people are like, oh no, if I don't buy this right now, it's gonna disappear and I'm gonna starve to death and I'm not gonna make it through the winter. And so that's the whole idea behind limited edition items, is this artificial scarcity forces people to be impulsive and buy things even if they're not priced fairly. So I think it's kind of disgusting that that's used as a marketing tactic, because like, admittedly, scarcity is a real thing. Even in the modern world, there's a lot of times where things just aren't available in the quantity that maybe is necessary to fulfill demand. However, there's a huge difference between real scarcity and artificial scarcity, and that's where I draw the line personally. I think if there's artificial scarcity, I'm gonna just drop the landmark really quick, because this is honestly a cool sim. Hi everybody. Sorry, I just noticed the chat. Ramsey, Serena, Kugel. Nice to see you guys again. It's been a while. Yeah, so this sim pretty cool. Nouveau, which is like a multi-vendor shop sim, pretty cool. So yeah, anyway, like, on the marketplace or with virtual items, the idea of scarcity is completely artificial. Like, there's absolutely no reason that you can't sell an infinite number of items. I'm gonna try this Material Girl, even though it sounds suspiciously like a shop sim. Yeah, Serena, this isn't my normal schedule at all. I don't normally stream this early, but I was expecting to go to work this morning, and instead, work was canceled because of the air pollution due to the fires in the Napa Valley blowing their smoke over the coast. So it's unsafe for me to even be outside. So yeah, silver lining, I guess, to the cataclysm. Alright, that last sim didn't work for whatever reason. Okay, that's a really interesting thought experiment, Kugel. Okay, I'm gonna go to try Alessandra Island here. So what if the creator dies and then their account gets shut down, and then the items become actually scarce? So that's sort of a loophole that I didn't really consider, and it's a really good point. I will say this though, as far as I know, like, every company has a different policy, but a lot of companies don't delete accounts after the person dies. Like, if I were to die right now, my Second Life marketplace shop would remain open, I presume, indefinitely. Like, for, let's see, I think this was about 4 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I pretty much just completely quit Second Life because I was just completely devoted to farming. and I had no energy at all to do anything outside of that. It was just every day in the fields, and then come home, go to sleep. No fun, just farming. And so I just totally quit Second Life. And for like 2 or 3 years, I would say, I didn't even log into my account. And that whole time, my store was operating, people were buying my items. So the bottom line that I'm trying to get at here, oh my god, I could get lost in this mall in like 10 seconds. Who could possibly navigate in a giant mall like this? Anyway, what I'm getting at is, unless I have some kind of advanced directive where I like have a piece of paper that tells my lawyer or whatever to log into my account and shut it down after I die, as far as I know, it'll just keep going. I mean, if you think about it, there's absolutely no incentive whatsoever for Linden Labs to shut down my account after I die, because my items being available are good for the marketplace, and if the money's just going into my Second Life account and never getting cashed out as Linden's, technically they're not losing any money. So there's really no reason for them to ever shut down my account as long as Second Life is still functioning. Yeah, so this is just a shop sim with a bunch of prefabs, and looks like a lot of shops though, but it's kind of ironic that I ended up on this sim after that last one, because this is sort of what I was envisioning for that kind of generic marketplace shop that I was thinking could be integrated into Second Life, because this is basically what it would look like, this generic and this kind of cookie cutter. Yeah, they could have like, just like they have resident islands, they could have like mall islands like this, and every resident would get like a little mall that they could then populate with their own items. Or they wouldn't really be doing anything, they'd just be adding stuff to the marketplace. So yeah, back to your comment though, Kugel. I think I'm just gonna, for the sake of habit, copy and paste this, even though it wasn't really what I had in mind. There are some companies, I know, like I think Facebook has some kind of a policy where there's some kind of a thing that you sign or something to an advanced directive essentially that lets them know what to do if the user of one of their accounts dies. I'm going to try this Metro City because this looks pretty cool. In which case then yes, the account content would probably become available or unavailable, and then scarcity would set in. Although, oh my god, what is with that dog sound? I will say this, for me in particular, things are even more complicated because I release a lot of items full permissions. Oh god, no, I was just trying to get rid of that arrow. Ugh. This looks like a really great build though. I'll bet this has been in the pics at some point. This is awesome. Yeah, so full perm items in Second Life proliferate to perpetuity. It's like, as soon as you put an item, a full perm item on the marketplace, like I still get, like to this day, note cards and chat pop-ups from items that I created like 6 or 7 years ago that somebody has taken and then added scripts to or whatever, and then those scripts come back to me because I'm the creator, even though they're the new owner. And then people take your full perm creations and they modify them, and then they put them on their own stores in Second Life, and then those become like a whole new generation of items that then also get duplicated almost infinitely across the grid. And if they're like if there's something that isn't even like a permanent structure, that's like a temporary item, or a particle of some sort, like an arrow. I made an arrow that was full perm and gets used a lot, and if someone's using that like in a bow or something, then millions and millions, potentially billions of those items are created in the future, regardless of me having had anything to do with the creation. So I think that's kind of a really cool dynamic to that process also. Yeah, so nice insight there, Google. I had a little recording studio in there. That's cool. Yeah, I'm really wary nowadays about going upstairs because usually there's nothing up there. Although there's some kind of computer desk up here. Got a music station. That's a really nice build, very realistic on all the components too. Like a podcasting station is what that kind of looks like. The doors aren't phantom. Oh, this is crazy. Oh wow, they even have like a October theme going on here in the main area. Alright, I'm gonna do a little scrying here. Let's see, alright, the info box. Okay, an adult residential and hangout sim for the LGBTQ plus community, featuring tons of chill spots, places to live, and clubs to party. Everyone welcome, women, men's, trans, bisexual, pansexual. Hey, I'm welcome. That's so nice. Ha ha ha. Yeah, so I think I might have some fun exploring this sim. Any functioning adult 2020, that's great. Wait, did I go in there? I was just in there, but like not all that stuff had loaded, or I didn't look around, so I'm going back in. Oh, wait a second. That's weird. Where's the doorway to that room? Ah, here we go. Ugh, that's one downside of the first person perspective, is that it does kind of tend to limit what you can see. This is a cool prop. Like a hidden mini bar inside a fire extinguisher. Yeah, more on false scarcity in Second Life. One particular instance that comes to mind, this guy who actually I started following on another social network and learned like all the sordid details of his rise and fall and participation in Second Life, and then lack of participation. He was like one of the big pioneers in the Second Life aviation scene back in the day, and he had all of these really cool freebie planes that he made. And then of course he got into mesh, and he was making mesh planes, and I don't know if he was getting help with the scripting. I think he was. I kind of remember he was talking about how he had a friend who was helping him with all the scripting. And so he was making these really amazing mesh planes that had some of the best scripting in Second Life for flight simulation. And I don't know why exactly he quit. I can't really remember, but for some reason he basically just quit Second Life. I think it was just like the margins, or people were stealing his work, or yeah, I think that's what it was. Now I kind of remembering this now. Like people were using copybot and stealing all of his work. Like he'd spend like years working on a single plane, getting it just right and perfect, and then someone would like steal his work and sell it on the marketplace or in the world, and he just like, I guess he just got disgusted with that, and so he quit. I could be telling this story completely wrong, by the way. This is just what I vaguely remember from reading a bunch of posts on social media, but I think it's more or less accurate. And anyway, eventually, he shut down his marketplace store, and at that point, everything that he had made, all of his planes and stuff, became more or less unavailable unless they had been full perm. That's a cool lamp. That's really cool. These prisms. Indigo. Surge crystal chandelier lamp. I love the Art Deco style, and they use the texture project to create the pattern down below, although it doesn't really match what you would expect to be the diffusion of that prism configuration. Yeah, so anyway, that is an example of actual scarcity of his items, because in a way it was almost like he died. I mean, his avatar basically died, I guess you could say, in a sense. Hey, the world's tiniest violin. No, it's just actually a normal size violin. That's cool, that mirror ball up there. Oh wow, it's projecting throughout the whole room just like a real mirror ball. Drew made this. The real disco ball and Terra's altar. That's cool. Alright, I'm just gonna iron the sky up here to the second floor. Yeah, I don't know if his plane suddenly became like really popular because of that, and people were like fighting over each other to like transfer and sell the final remaining copies. I mean, I suppose maybe that happened. A lot of the ones he made were full perm though. In fact, eventually he released like a pack. He was just like, I think this was after a bunch of people contacted him and were like, man, we really want to buy your planes. Why'd you shut down your store? And then he just was like, here, have them all. And he released like this big package, like his entire store, like every single plane he'd ever made in one big download that you could get in Second Life. Oh, this is cool with these water features and the Turkish furniture, very cozy looking. Uh-oh, I'm in private property shit. I don't want to get booted off the sim. I just got here. That was a very generous 60-second warning there. Oh, they have rentals here? That's cool. Huh, no, they're modular. They're modules, but they, looks like they don't interface perfectly. There's a little overlap there. Wow, they really went the extra mile here on, like, authenticity. It's a very realistic looking, community. That's kind of cool. Drew made that. Rat cats. Ah, a little collectible shelf here. That's pretty rad. Oh, looks like Whoopi Goldberg from Sister Act. Beautiful details in these little models. Does she have a mask on? No. Am I being too loud? Okay, I'll be quiet. My partner's taking a nap right now, so I gotta be extra quiet. I'm just gonna be whispering into the mic. Are you ready for asthma? Nice kitchen. I would totally want to cook food in there. Yeah, so this seems like a really well-made community. Like the design and the layout's really, like look at these stop signs, or street signs. These are really well made. It's like mesh letters on there. No, they're not though. Oh, it's just no anti-aliasing. It's very crisp lettering. Oh, this kind of reminds me of something I was reading about recently. It was like this group of people who had to like make their own community because they were being persecuted. That's really kind of sad to think about, that people can't just live together, that they have to create their own communities. But I mean, on the other hand, that's just kind of like what humans do normally, regardless of status. And there are some advantages to cultures kind of siloing, self-isolating, and forming their own sort of culture. And oh yeah, that's what it was. It was God, I wish I could remember the language. I think it was some type of Arabic. I could be wrong about this. Or maybe it was, no, it wasn't Hebrew. Maybe it was Japanese. I'm not sure. Anyway, it was this group of women who basically felt so persecuted in their community because it was like one of those oppressive, patriarchal, fascist kind of communities that basically they kind of broke off on their own and created this secret language that they were using to communicate among themselves. I mean, now that's some next level persecution right there. That like you're basically creating a community within a community. Oh, this is an awesome hot tub. It's got like a wood stove to power it. I gotta see who made this. Apple Fall. Should have known. Looks like whoever lives over here is actually taking the time to deck out their little bungalow. I really like these tiny homes in Second Life. I think they're not only practical, but they're just aesthetically, they're really pleasing. Like I would totally live in here. I was telling my partner the other day, like I would be fine living in a hole in the ground or a cave. Like I don't need a lot of space. I do most of my most of the things that I do outside of the home, so to me it's just like a place to sleep and shelter from the worst of the elements. Otherwise, like I've got my rain gear. I've got my survival skills. Yeah, out of all the sort of planned communities that I've toured in Second Life, this one so far, it's, I think, probably the most impressive one I've ever seen in terms of just the aesthetics and planning, landscaping. One thing that I will say about these planned communities, they're kind of by Dawn 2020. That's cool. They're too homogenous. Like, and I don't mean like the fact that they chose the same basic houses for the like strip track housing kind of on some of the areas. What I mean is that the selection of assets that are used usually are almost all created by like up to like 5 different creators, on the marketplace. So on one hand, the homogeneity is nice because you know what to expect, and everything has sort of a similar level of quality and aesthetic to it, I guess. So there's like a harmony there, which is pretty cool. But on the other hand, it's like, where's the diversity, where's the character, where's the quirkiness? Although, I don't know, I might have spoke too soon, because I feel like there's still a lot of diversity on this sim. It's not quite as homogeneous as it at first appeared. Getting back to what I was talking about earlier, though, there's quite the history of subcultures creating their own the zombie baby is at max volume. Creating their own languages and stuff so that they can communicate secretly amongst themselves. Sometimes to avoid persecution, other times just for fun. But with these women, I think it was out of necessity, basically, because they were so like oppressed by the patriarchy that they felt like they couldn't even have emotions, more or less. And most of the language, from what I gathered from reading this article, was about like intimacy and sort of words that were used to express sort of all the feelings that they are having. Which, like, that's like one of my favorite, I think, I wish I could remember his name now, but the guy in Jurassic Park, nature finds a way, or life finds a way, whatever. Or actually, I have an even better postmodern psychotherapist adage or metaphor that makes even more sense to me, which is squeezing the balloon. Like if you've ever held a balloon in your hands, an inflated balloon, of course, and then you start squeezing it, the balloon will squeeze out between your fingers wherever it can. And then if you are ambitious and you're like, okay, I want to get this balloon back into my hand, you start pushing on one of the places where it's bulging out, because of the displacement, the balloon just automatically is going to start coming out of another place. Maybe if you had 50 hands, you could sort of like get it all back in there. But ultimately, when you're pushing sort of the decompressed part out or back in one place, it's going to come out in another. So it's the same thing if oh, it's like a eternal scream. I love haunted houses, especially in Second Life. Just an empty room. Yeah, if you're not letting people talk about their emotions, and they need to, those emotions are going to come out, whether you like it or not, in some other way. If you're really unlucky, and if you're just a total bastard about it, it might come out in homicide. Or something even worse. Yeah, but these women were too clever for that. Instead of deciding to be homicidal, they created their own special language so that they could talk about their feelings. I'd say that's kind of peak admirable. These adorable little cats. That one looks just like my May. It's basically mango and pistachio, my two cats. Even the eye colors are similar. That's kind of spooky. Badumts. I saw that box and I was thinking like, oh, there's an East Empire lockbox. I better get my lockpicks out. It's like when you know you've been playing too much Skyrim. Something is stopping me from getting out of here. Alright. I'm gonna do like an eye in the sky here really quick just because. Oh, someone's talking to me here. I really need like a sign over my head that says I'm streaming or brings attention to the fact that I'm a huge introvert, and it's nothing personal, but I'm probably not going to be very communicative. Actually, I'd like one of those for real life, to be honest. It's a very like prototypical American suburban neighborhood with McMansions and SUVs and garages that are 1/4 the size of the house. I'll be totally honest, I'm not a fan of this kind of suburbia, even though it's kind of like the de facto way that Americans live nowadays. I really like this house though. Wow, this is a really cool house. Oh, look at this. Like, shuttered window, or a door. Oh, wow, that's so cool. Oh, man. I would totally live here. That's a really neat shutter effect. I'm actually gonna tour this house. And to see who made this. That's funny, I just realized that I was like perfectly costumed for that that haunted area that I was walking through because, you know, I'm a ghost. Oh, this is like next level. Oh, wow. Jesus Christ, that's crazy. I can't believe that's scripted. Wow, I bet all the windows are scripted too. Wow. Whoever made this is like a master builder. I don't know if I've ever been quite this impressed. I would literally buy one of these houses. And I'm sure they're not cheap. Oh, this is awesome. That attic pull down though, seriously. Like, look at this. That is nuts. That's just crazy. Alright, let's see who made this. Roost Pendle Key House by Roost Homes. Have to look them up on the marketplace. Probably, I wouldn't be surprised if all these were Roost Homes. There's a weather vane up there, that's pretty cool. Probably not scripted though. Yeah, right, Serena? It's like perfect for moving in, and not a bad size either. Like, a lot of times the houses you find in the marketplace are like really large, like literal McMansions, or they're too small, but that one was kind of like just right for a 512 parcel. I wonder what the land impact was. I should have checked that, but I can check it on the marketplace later on. I feel like the sim has everything except for a lot of people populating it. Like, it seemed like most of the houses were oh, whoa, a Boston Dynamics robot dog? No way. Holy cow, someone made one of these in Second Life, and it looks like it's, well, I guess it's just scripted to move a little. It doesn't really seem like it's scripted to walk around. But damn, that's cool. Like, these things are cutting edge. I was just seeing like a news article the other day about one that was walking around some town doing like security. I gotta see who made this. It's an Animus too, plus attachable by Near McBride. Sow Cyberdog 8. Huh. That's pretty cool. But it apparently just kind of gets up and down and looks around. But I mean, if it's Animesh, it could be scripted to do all kinds of things. That's gross. The dog actually like took a dump on the patio. Honestly, I feel like the Cyberdog should leave like a little battery or something on the patio, you know? Just kind of poop one out of its cyber butt. It's that guy holding an eggplant between his legs. Is that a mini disc player? Nah, it's just a regular Walkman with a mixtape. Breakup mix. That's kind of depressing. Wow, this is a really cool cityscape here. I'm gonna turn the sound down just a bit, it's a bit loud in my ear. Stockholm and Lima skyline lights by Syrup. That's awesome. It's like a male Jessica Rabbit. I'm all for equal opportunity. Oh wow, this is a beautiful jukebox. Also by Syrup. That's cool. Don't mind if I do. Some cocktail wieners. This is like really well decorated. Just has to take a dip, you know, it's tradition. Oh, banana tree. This is like the luxury side of town. No cookie cutter two doors for these guys. Oh, cool, wind turbine. Alright, I think I already looked at that house. I didn't see this turbine though the last time I was here. Andrew made this. Looks like pretty good detail. That doesn't really look like it's textured. Apple Fall, huh? Weird. Apple Fall's good at a lot of things, but apparently their wind turbines are a little subpar. And there's so many assets. I am majorly lagging up here. Alright, that's where I first rezzed. I'm just gonna do like an eye in the sky kind of inspection here. It's the haunted house area. The club. The beachfront. Oh, it's got like a yacht club over there. And then a new subdivision. Oh, I guess this is a 2-for-1 because that's a whole different sim over there that I was on. Oh yeah, which reminds me what I was gonna say earlier about suburbia. It's like I feel like a real community of the future, at least an American community, would be like a car-free community. Those are a lot more popular nowadays around the world, but specifically like this grid style with streets. Like I guess this community down here is a walkable community, and it's not really car friendly. Although you could drive cars on those roads, but that one over there, that's like classic suburbia with just very, very car centric. A lot of wasted space for garages and streets and stuff. Did I see this area over here? Is that the haunted house? Yeah, that's another haunted area. Okay, this sim's pretty cool. I think I'm about out of gas. I'm gonna go have some breakfast. Thanks for watching. This was a fun stream for me, and it was all good. Everything I saw was pretty cool. Yeah. Stay safe out there, friends. And I'll see you next time. Neo out.